About 3 months ago, I uploaded a video where I built my own automatic dart scoring system, and the response was honestly amazing. But after reading through all the comments, I realized one thing. A lot of you had questions. How does the LED setup work? Can you use a USB LED strip? Which screws do I actually need? Do I really need special tools for 3D inserts? And what about calibrating and programming? So I decided to make a completely updated and simplified version. In this video, I will show you how to build a fully auto dart system step by step, using 3 cameras to automatically track and score your darts. But this time I wanted to make it easy and accessible as possible. No special tools, no complicated setup, and no fancy workshop equipment. If you enjoy DIY projects and have access to a 3D printer, or maybe just a friend with one, you can build this. I also recorded the entry calibration and programming process again, because I know many people struggled with that part in the last video. And the best part, the whole system costs less than 50 euros, which from what I have seen, makes this one of the cheapest full-featured AutoDart system out there, including cameras, LED lighting and everything you need to get started. I will also show you which components to look out for, what specs actually matter, where you can save money and what everything costs in the end. So if you have ever wanted your own automatic dart scoring system without spending hundreds of euros, let's build one together. I will show you the 3D printed parts, the setup, the calibration process and everything you need to get this working. Let's get started. Alright, before we start building, let's go through all the 3D parts you will need for this project. I will show each part on screen and how many you need and where to download them. Most of the files are available on printables and I will link everything in the description below. First we have the main stand. You will need 3 of these. These are available on printables and highly recommend using the 40mm version, since it's the standard option and works the best in my experience. Next we have the camera mounts, and again, you will need 3 pieces. These are also available on printables. After that came the camera covers, also 3 pieces, and you can find these on printables as well. For the lighting setup you will need 3 main LED holders. These attach directly to the feet, and you can also download them on printables. In addition to that you will need 6 extra LED support pieces to give between the main holders. These are also available on printables. To connect everything together, I modified some connector parts myself. These files will be available in my Dropbox and I will link them in the video description below. Finally, we have the gap covers. These sit on top of the connector pieces and help block unwanted light from shining through. You can download these from printables as well. Once you have all printed parts ready, the only extra thing you will need is some super glue, and then we can finally start putting everything together. As you probably already noticed, I'm not using treated inserts for this build. Instead, I'm using super glue. The reason for that is simple. I wanted to make this version as easy and accessible as possible. That means no special tools for installing 3D inserts, no extra hardware to mount the whole system together, and no complicated setup. Superglue is cheap, easy to get, and pretty much anyone can work with it, which makes this build much more beginner friendly. Before we start gluing everything together, a quick safety note. If you are working indoors, make sure the room is well ventilated or open a window. I also highly recommend wearing disable gloves. As you can see, I'm wearing them as well. And definitely use safety glasses to protect your eyes. Next we are going to use the 6 LED support pieces we printed earlier, together with the modified connector parts from my Dropbox. Take 2 LED support pieces and one of the modified connectors. Apply a small amount of superglue to both support pieces. Then carefully attach the connector in between them. Repeat this process 3 times until you end up with 3 identical modules. Just make sure everything is aligned properly before the glue fully sets. Once all 3 modules are finished, we can move to the main LED holders, the ones that sit on the main stand. Now take the modified connector pieces and attach them to both ends of each LED holder. You will need 2 connectors per holder, 1 on each side. So in total we will use all 6 connector pieces here. Again, just apply a small amount of super glue and make sure everything is aligned properly before it dries. Alright, now that all the parts are ready, we can finally start putting everything together. We are going to alternate between 1 LED module and 1 main LED holder, continuing around in the circle until everything is connected. Personally, I found it easier to build one half first, then assemble the second half and finally connect both sections together at the end. Sometimes the parts can be a little tight, that's completely normal. To make things easier, I used a screwdriver to carefully guide the parts into place. But honestly, anything similar like a pen or a small tool you already have at home will work just fine. Once the full circle is assembled, I highly recommend letting everything dry at least a few hours before moving on the next step. That way everything has enough time to fully set and becomes much more stable. Once everything is fully dry, you have two options for the next step. As I mentioned earlier, I'm using these gap covers to block light from shining through the small gaps into the frame. Normally these parts are designed to simply clip into place, which works perfectly fine. But in my case I decided to glue them on instead, because it adds a bit more stable to the overall structure. So this part is completely up to you. You can either clip them or glue them into the place. For this build I decided to go with glue. Now that the frame is finished, we can put it aside for the moment and move to the camera stands. This is where we will install the cameras and take care of the cable management. The next step is assembling the camera stands. For this we will need 3 camera modules and 3 main stands. Take 1 camera module and 1 stand. Then glue them together just like I'm showing in the video. You can simply hold the parts in place while the glue dries, but to make things easier and a bit faster, I used some clamps to keep everything secure. That way you don't have to hold the parts the whole time and everything stays nicely aligned while drying. Alright, this is the final step. We will need glue, and probably the most exciting part of the whole build. Now we are going to connect the finished frame with the 3 complete camera stands. The process is actually pretty simple. Take 1 camera stand, apply the glue as shown in the video and carefully attach it to the frame. To make things a little bit easier, I use some pillars as helping tool. They are definitely not required, but they can make positioning everything a bit easier. Once all 3 stands are attached, the fully 3D printed frame is basically finished. After that we can move on the next part, installing the cameras and plugging everything in. Before we move to the cameras, there's one important step first, installing the LED ring. One of the biggest questions I got after my last video was, can you use a USB powered LED strip instead of a separate power supply? So for this build I decided to test it, and honestly it worked perfectly fine. That means in this video I'm using a USB LED strip, which makes the setup much easier and especially for beginners. The only small problem is that the USB connector doesn't fit through the opening in the frame. But there's actually a pretty simple solution. Instead of feeding the USB end through, just start with the other end of the LED strip. As shown in the video, carefully slide the LED strip into the channel from below and slowly guide through the frame. Once everything is in place, you can start attach the LED strip along the side of the channel. And in the end, the USB cable will come out exactly where we need it. Of course, if the USB option doesn't work for you or you prefer different setup, you can also do it like I did in a project 2 and use a 12V LED strip with the separate power supply. Both options work, but for beginners I would definitely recommend to use the USB version. At this point, this is how everything should look once the LED strip is installed. Before we move to the cameras, here's a quick tip from me. Test the LED strip first. Just plug the USB cable into a laptop or a power bank, or use a USB power supply and make sure everything is working properly. In my case, you can see the whole ring lighting up nicely. And trust me, it's always better to do a quick test now instead of realizing later that something isn't working. Now we can finally move onto the cameras. The frame is finished, the LED ring is installed, and everything is ready to go. For mounting the cameras, I used an M2 screw kit with different screw sizes. I will show the exact screws again later in the video. Of course, you will also need the camera cables, but these are usually included when you order the cameras. One important improvement compared to my last video in project 2, we had to trim the edges from the camera board using side cutters to make everything fit. For this build, especially choose camera modules that already came without those extra edges, which means no cutting, no modification, and overall much easier setup. Installing everything is actually pretty simple. Start by feeding the camera's cable to the stand from bottom to top with the connector coming out at the top. Then connect the camera and carefully place it into the housing. For the screws I used M2.3 5mm and M2.3 8mm screws. I will show the exact setup again in the video. To be honest, I only mixed the sizes because I didn't have enough of one type, so you don't need to use these exact screws. Anything close to that size should be work just fine. Once the camera is mounted, place the cover on the top. For the cover I used M2 6mm screws. Since the plastic has a bit of flexibility, you don't have to use the exact same screws lengths as me. There's a little room to work with. Once one camera module is finished, simply repeat the exact same process for the other two. Once everything is finished, your setup should look exactly like this. Now it's time to connect everything, and honestly, this part is super simple. Here's a quick overview how everything should be connected. We are using a USB hub. Simply plug all 3 cameras into the hub. Then, on the 4th USB part, connect the LED strip. The USB cable from the hub itself was a bit too short in my case, so I used a 5-meter USB extension cable to make it reach the computer properly. Once everything is connected, you have only one single USB cable going to your computer. And that's basically it for the whole setup. No separate power supply for the LEDs, no complicated wiring, and no extra electronics. Just plug everything in and you are ready for the next step. At this point, the hardware is basically finished. Normally the next step would be to mount the dartboard to the wall, add the surround, and then install the AutoDarts system around it. In my case, I already have a permanent setup, so for this video I decided to do a quick test setup on the floor instead. I simply place the dartboard and surround on the ground and hide the cables underneath. For the final installation, I would definitely recommend securing the cables properly with cable ties and spending a bit more time on cable management to make everything look nice and clean. The goal here was simply to demonstrate that the system works and show the complete setup process. And with that, the hardware side of the project is done. Now we can move to the software setup, downloading AutoDarts, connecting the system and configuring everything so it's ready to play. First, open your browser and go to the AutoDarts website. Scroll down and select your operating system and download the AutoDarts application. Once the download is complete, connect the USB cable from the system to your computer. Then open the AutoDarts application and we can start setting everything up. The next step is to log into AutoDarts. If you don't have an account yet, you can create one. Or simply sign you're using your Google account. Next, click on the configuration button to open the camera settings. Once you are in the configuration menu, make sure all 3 cameras are detected correctly. For the best result, I recommend to selecting the highest available resolution and setting the frame rate to 30 frames per second. I also set the camera standby mode to 15 minutes. Most importantly, you should be able to see all 3 camera feeds on the screen. You will notice that AutoDarts already displays the board segments and markers automatically. Don't worry, if they don't line up perfectly yet, that's completely normal at this stage. Next, click on Calibrate and let the AutoDarts run through the calibration process. Once the calibration is finished, check that the red triangle is positioned at the 20 segments on all 3 cameras views. If that looks correct, the calibration is complete. After that, simply exit the configuration menu and return to the home screen. And that's it. The system is now ready for the first test. At this point, you can throw a few darts and make sure everything is working correctly. I tested it myself and everything worked exactly as expected. To give it proper test, I also started a game of 501 against myself. This is a great way to see the complete setup in action and how well the system tracks and scores the darts automatically. As you can see, everything works really well and it's pretty cool to watch the system do all the scoring for you. Now let's take a look at the cost breakdown and all the components used for this build. For the 3D printed parts I used about 1.4 kilograms of filament. In my case I used black PLA, but you can use other materials and colors if you prefer. Next we have the cameras and camera cables. As I mentioned earlier, I choose the version without the extra frame around the camera board, which makes the installation much easier because no modifications are required. If you already have the other camera version with the frame attached, you can check out my Project 2 video where I show how to prepare those cameras. Then we have a standard USB 3.0 hub. I also used the USB extension cable simply because the cable on my USB hub wasn't long enough to reach my computer. For the lighting I used a USB powered LED strip. I bought the cameras, USB hub, USB extension cable and the LED strip from AliExpress because that was the cheapest option for me. You will also need some super glue, which you can buy pretty much anywhere. And finally there's the screw kit. I used a mixed M2 screw assortment and simply selected the screws that fit best for each part for the build. As I mentioned at the beginning of the video, the total cost of this project is under 50 euros. From everything I have been so far, this is probably the cheapest completed AutoDarts system you can build at the moment. At least I haven't found a cheaper full setup that includes the cameras, lighting and mounting system. And the best part is that it's also very beginner friendly. You don't need complicated tools, specialized equipment or advanced DIY skills. If you can do some basic 3D printing, simple assembly work, I'm confident that almost anyone can build this system. One last thing before we finish the video. This is actually the 7th AutoDarts system I have built so far. Most of the previous builds were for friends and family. So I have had the chance to test a lot lot of different versions and setups, and honestly this was by far the fastest and easiest version I have built yet. The combination of the simplified design, the USB power LED strip, and the fact that no special tools are required to make the whole build process much more straightforward. I hope this video helped answer some of the questions that came up after my previous build and makes it easier for anyone who wants to build their own AutoDart system. If you are interested in seeing my personal setup, feel free to check out my Project 2 video, where I built the AutoDart system that I use myself. If you enjoyed this video and found it helpful, I would really appreciate if you consider subscribing my channel. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video.